Okay, so in this video, let's talk about Nikola Motor, ticker symbol NKLA. So, I was reading the comments on the video I posted recently about the top 5 best electric car stocks. You guys check it out if you haven't seen that video. And one of you guys mentioned why I didn't include Nikola Motor. So I did talk about Nikola Motor initially before the company went officially public through its SPAC, and the stock, as you can see here, ran up really high, even up to $80, which is crazy because this is still a pre-revenue company. This company is generating basically zero revenue as of the recent quarterly report. They're still in production mode. They're still coming out with their hydrogen cell trucks, and yet the stock was valued at like over $35 billion, which is crazy. And at one point, this company was worth more than even GM or Ford. So what happened was that there was a research report released by a short seller talking about how the founder of the company, Trevor Milton, was involved in scams and fraud. And as you can see here, basically ever since all of the negative news is coming back on Nikola Motor, the stock has fallen a ton. So for people that bought here, they absolutely got crushed. And now people are wondering whether it's a good buy or not. But even now, I'm still not confident about this company. I think the stock is going to continue to go much lower. And this is kind of a company that has a lot of nice promises, but they haven't really delivered on anything yet. So I'm going to give you guys my take on Nikola Motor stock and why I'm avoiding it for now. And this is basically obviously a short-term thing. I think things will change in 2021 for this company, but right now I think it's a stay away. So let's just get right into the bulk of the video of why I'm staying away from the company. So let's go right into the latest quarterly report. So as you can see here, I'm on NikolaMotor.com, and here we are. It says reports third quarter earnings. So, you know, the company has made significant progress apparently on several key milestones and things like that. But the truth of the matter is the company really isn't generating any revenue. So, you know, for you guys that are new to the stock market, stocks are going to move on revenue and earnings. So if there's not positive earnings, but the revenue is good, that can make a stock move. So the stock is tied to the underlying business. So this is one of the reasons why I'm not interested in the company right now, because I believe the stock is going to go much lower. But there are some good signs. As you can see here, the company is in production mode. But as you can see here and read some of this, it says Nikola and IVCO are working diligently to complete the remaining 4 Nikola Tre prototypes. Nikola anticipates these vehicles finished by end of 2020. Second batch of prototype assembly will begin in the first quarter of 2021. So the company is still in prototype mode. They haven't really released any deliveries or anything like that, and they're not really generating much revenue. So if we could take a look down here, as you can see here, the company is losing money, and this is definitely a company that obviously has a lot of potential, but there isn't any revenue, guys. So when you're looking at EV stocks, you want to look at stocks that are going to be generating significant revenue when you buy them, obviously. Otherwise the stocks are going to be overvalued. And in this case, let's take a look at Nikola Motors market cap, which is about $7 billion for this company. Now, to pay $7 billion for a stock that is generating you know, no revenue whatsoever in market cap, I think is completely overvalued. And there's also some tailwinds coming up in the future, which I want to talk about, that I think is going to create more downward pressure on the stock. So if we take a look here, here's another story. It says that Nikola Motors reveals it receives subpoenas from the Department of Justice and the SEC. So the founder of the company, Trevor Milton, he's under hot water. He's been subpoenaed by the Department of Justice, and they want to talk about this whole situation and how this guy became a billionaire basically on a company that wasn't really generating any revenue. So there could be some negative repercussions for this. Obviously, the SEC is very interested in this case. So that's definitely a negative tailwind as well, because Trevor Milton still has ownership shares in this stock. And now I want to talk about one of the biggest tailwinds I think that is going to cause the stock to go much further is the lockup period. So let's talk about the lockup period. Okay, so as you can see here, there's an article posted on Yahoo Finance back on October 15th. It says Nikola lockup expiration could be a ticking time bomb. So if we take a look at this report, it says Nikola Corporation shares have been stabilized somewhat in the past 2 weeks following a major swoon. But it says a Hindenburg research report accusing Nikola of intricate fraud has triggered the sell-off. So that was obviously the first downward movement. So what is the lockup period? that I'm talking about? Well, the lockup period is basically one of the ways companies keep volatility in check during the weeks and months following a new stock's IPO or initial listing. So a lockup period is typically ranging between 3 months and a year, during which insider institutional investors are restricted from dumping potentially billions worth of shares on the market. So this is a very bad thing, and personally, guys, I'll tell you, a lockup period can really cause shares to plummet. This is exactly what happened in DraftKings stock. I bought DraftKings stock then it was like around $20 or so like that, and the stock ran up a ton, and then once the lockout period ended, a bunch of the insiders that had bought basically pre-IPO ended up dumping their shares, and then that caused a lot of downward pressure on the stock. So you have to be really careful about these lockout periods. So when does the lockup period end? Well, the lockup period ends on November 30th. So as we're recording the video, that lockout period is in 18 days. So now let's take a look at what percentage of the stock are. Okay, so now I'm on NASDAQ. So as it says Nikola ended up raising $700 million on June 3rd through a combination of reverse merger and the sale of the PIPE shares. And then the lockout will have selling pressure. So as you can see here, it says that the private investors paid $10 for 52 million shares on June 3rd. And as you can see here, it talks a little bit more. It says that on July 1st, Nikola filed its S1 amendment, which shows those selling shareholders and describes a lockup agreement. So the private investors have to wait 150 days. So when is 150 days? 150 days from June 3rd is November 30th. So those 52 million shares represent about 15% of the total shares outstanding. So what this means is that if these guys bought the stock at $10, right, and now the stock is currently trading around 20 or something like that, and there's also warrants at $11.50, it's most likely pretty sure that they're going to sell, because as of right now they're basically like doubling their money. And with all of the fraud investigations and just, you know, it's going to take a long time for this company to generate any decent revenue. I think that that lockup period is going to cause a lot of downward pressure on the stock. And then there's also some more lockup agreements even in the future. Okay, so then there's also some more downward pressure on the stock. As you can see here, there's another group, Worthington Industries. They own some shares, and they'll be able to unload their shares on January 30th. And then even Trevor Milton, the CEO that stepped down due to fraud allegations, he will be able to sell his shares on January 30th. So we have a couple major dates, basically November 30th and January 30th, when there's going to be a lot of downward selling pressure on Nikola Motor stock. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't recommend it in my video. I think that this stock is going to go much lower. It's at a $7 billion market cap. I think it's realistic that this stock could go to maybe $15 or lower. There really isn't any revenue coming in, and it's basically all hype. So like I said, with this type of stock, you definitely don't want to buy it up too high, because you're going to be taking losses, and then you're just hoping and praying those losses will come back, when there's other plays out there that you can make money on now, like Workhorse, Tesla, NIO, things like that. I think these are more solid plays. But I will be coming back to Nikola Motor stock. I think there is potential here, but right now I think the stock is too expensive, so I'm avoiding it right now. So I hope that this answered your question, guys. Right now for me, Nikola Motors is not a buy. If you own the stock, it's a hold. It's a long-term hold. I would like to see it cheaper, perhaps if it comes down to $15 or below. I'll be a little bit more interested in it, but sitting at a $7 billion market cap with really no revenue, I wouldn't be surprised if this market cap got to $3 billion or lower. So I would say if you're looking to buy the stock, hold off for now. I think you can get it cheaper in the future. So that's it until next time, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like my videos on Nikola Motors and other electric car stocks, just smash the red subscribe button to be sure. And be sure to hit the notifications bell so you get updated whenever I publish a new video. So that's it until next time, guys. Take care.